what is the harm in having a little bit extra? The less strict you are now, the easier it'll be to let go of in the long run. Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day so far. It is Saturday today, and I'm about to head to work in a few minutes, but I wanted to answer a few of the questions. I put out a poll on Instagram a little bit ago, or like literally like a week ago maybe, and I never got around to answering those questions, but I did screenshot several of them. So we're gonna do a quick Q&A before I head to work. So, because I have a little bit extra time. So, is it going? Are we going? Okay. How do you know if you have an eating disorder? How do I know that I need to recover? You don't have to be diagnosed with an eating disorder to have disordered eating or even a full-out eating disorder. And how do you know? Are you thinking all the time about food? Are you underweight? And even if you're not underweight, that's not a main thing. If you've lost your period, if you don't feel comfortable around food, you have certain rituals that you can't let go of, like you're very OCD, you're always cold. Like there's just so many like signs and symptoms, but again, I need to say you do not have to be underweight or have lost a period for you to be valid and actually have an eating disorder at all. No, simply if you're obsessed with food, if you can't stop thinking about it, if you plan your day around food, or if you abuse laxatives, binging, purging, like literally if food is more than just part of life to you, you probably have a bit of an obsession and some sort of disorder around it. How do you start full recovery without professional help? I have no resources. So if you do not have access to professional help and to a therapist, to inpatient treatment, to outpatient treatment, anything, here's what I would do and what I started doing. First of all and foremost, you have to admit that you have a problem and admit that you need help and decide to commit to that. You have to commit. You don't always have to want it, but you have to commit to it. And then from that point, you need to tell somebody. Honestly, I don't think you can do it completely on your own, in your own bubble. Eating disorders are very isolated. You can't just keep in isolation because that will just feed the disorder. You have to tell somebody, whether that be your mom, your dad, your sibling, a close friend, your partner, your significant other, whoever. I really, really recommend telling somebody so that they can help keep you accountable. And then if someone's willing to, maybe a friend from church or from school or just a friend that you have, meet with them every once in a while, maybe every week or every other week, and then just check in with them and talk through your issues. You don't have to pay a therapist. If you have friends that are really there for you, they'll be willing to listen. They should be willing to listen. That's what I did. Really good. It's really helpful, and I've been doing that for a while, and it's been amazing. So get a meal plan, have calorie minimums. Don't decide just to eat intuitively at the very beginning, because your brain isn't fully there and you're not totally logical. So to be able to just eat intuitively is very difficult. So I would say have a plan set in place and have someone help you stick to that plan. And yeah, that's the advice I have for starting if you don't have, professional help. Oh my gosh, dealing with guilt that comes from your parents spending so much money on treatment. You know what? That is something that I still struggle with, and I'll be honest, I don't know. My parents spent so much money when they sent me out of state to inpatient treatment, and if I think about it, I'll start crying and I feel guilty. And I even talked to my dad about it again recently, and I just started crying. He said, Stephanie, absolutely not. No. We saved your life. We don't regret it. Like, there was no second thought. Your life was more important. So realize that if they send you to treatment, that means they love you, and that was, in their minds, there was no other option, and you should not feel guilty. That just feeds in, makes you think you're not worth it, but you are so worth it, obviously, if they sent you there. And she said, feeling bad, especially after relapsing, hey, I'm there too, I relapsed after that, and kick yourself in the butt at that point and be like, my parents spent so much money and time, and I went through hell, having to be sent away from them and missing them in treatment. I am not gonna let a relapse make that all go away and reverse that progress. So be like, no, they use that as a motivation to keep yourself on the right path, knowing that they spent that time and that money and that energy for you. So do your best to live showing that you're thankful. Show them that you're thankful and repay them by being recovered and living freely and living out the result of what that treatment was supposed to bring you, if that makes sense. That's how I look at it. tips for tracking calories without being obsessive, and how strict am I? So that is something that's really hard as well, because you know, you want to make sure you get enough calories in and hit minimums, but at the same time you don't want to count every single gram and every single ounce and become obsessive with it. So for me, it was very hard, and I still struggle with it sometimes. If I need like 150 grams of rice, I sometimes will just challenge myself and go to like 155, 160 and just not worry about it. I won't go back and take out a single gram and like I won't, as long as it hits the minimum, that's okay. And you'll realize that, oh hey, like at first it's like, oh, then obviously I'm gonna gain weight faster because I'm going over what I thought I was gonna be eating. But you don't, you actually don't. And I mean, yes, I've gained weight, but like, it's not, it doesn't all of a sudden make you balloon up because you had 5 extra grams, or you're having a little bit extra every day without counting it. Like, and think about it this way, in the long run, or at least right now, you're trying to gain weight. I'm trying to gain a little bit more weight and put on muscle and fat and all the things. So what is the harm in having a little bit extra and just getting there that much faster? So tell yourself that, and realize that it's not long term to do that anyway. So the less strict you are now, the easier it'll be to let go of in the long run, and the easier it'll be to just let go of it completely and have freedom. So that's my tip for that. I'm not super strict. Again, some days I do struggle with being super strict and having to be like, breathe, it's okay. Life's not about 5 extra grams of rice. Oh my gosh, I literally had a tiny bit of a struggle with that last night with the huge portion that I had. But it was okay, I lived, I survived. And so yeah, just don't get so caught up on the numbers. It's not worth it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna answer for now. I wanted to keep this kind of shorter. I have to get ready to go to work, and my brother is coming in town today. The Cowboys play their first playoff game tonight, so we'll be watching that, and by the time you guys see this, it'll be over, so they'll probably have lost. Did I just say that? But anyway, we're gonna watch that tonight, and I'm like super nervous about it because I get my hopes up and then every year they get crushed. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful and answered a few questions. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram as well, Twitter. I don't ever get on Twitter, but I have one. But yeah, that's it. I also have a Patreon account if you want more one-on-one personal contact with me. All right, that's it for today, guys. I love you guys so much, and have a fabulous morning, night, day, evening, midnight, whatever time you're watching this. I hope you guys are doing fabulously and that you continue to do fabulously. Love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Ah, it's knocked over my camera. I've only had it a week and I broke the camera.